I'll keep it real. I didn't see this outcome in the game. I didn't see this outcome. I didn't see Arsenal coming back to score 2 goals to win this game right in the final moments. And to be fair, I still think that leaving with 3 points is a bit of a mad one, because I'm not going to pretend I didn't see Gabriel's handball against Elanga from that cross right near the end. For me, that is kind of outrageous. Something that evident, something that obvious, something that blatant. Why is his arm up like this? He's closing down the surface area. How was that denied? For myself, that is a mad decision. But you're seeing favours going towards Liverpool. I don't think Arsenal fans can complain today, because their goals, courtesy of Gabriel and Merino, have given them a lot of hope. I thought from Arsenal today, this was a good performance. A good performance against a strong and resolute Newcastle team that caused many problems, that defended in packs. This was not an easy game for Arsenal at all, but I thought the way they probed, I thought the way Mikel Arteta reacted proactively reacted to ensure that he was giving Arsenal like more of an edge, just upping the gears slowly and slowly and slowly. He played, in my opinion, the biggest part behind this comeback today. And you could see it from like decisions right at the start of the second half when Gabriel came on to replace Mascara. Listen, Mascara had his first nervy moments of the season so far, but Arteta wasn't going to let anything go to chance. He was like, listen, Voltemada is causing problems. Voltemada is causing issues. Just his presence. He's 6'6". He's got footwork. The guy is a fake player. He looks like a cartoon character. He doesn't look like a real football player. And from the moments where he even got the first goal, by barely applying any contact to Gabriel, who was kind of all over the place, he was already kind of bending down already, meant like whatever contact he felt, he's a smart defender. He'll try and buy it to try and gain an advantage. That's expected. That's the game. But when Arteta saw that if I control the only weakness we have, which is Voltemada, if we control the best outlet for Newcastle, we're going to have hope to do something in this game. And I think that was definitely what happened to help secure the comeback win. Because once Gabriel came on, there was more defensive assurance. When he was on, there was more opportunities to push more men forward, which meant that there was more opportunities to introduce other players at key times of the game to turn things around. That's how Arteta saw things. And in the end, the classic Arteta way of playing back the results. I've seen Arsenal fans complain about the style of football. I get it, but I think sometimes, in my opinion, I think Arsenal fans at times can be maybe a bit too greedy, a bit too deluded at times. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that you guys were struggling to do anything. The fact that you have like this caliber of squads, that you're competing at the right levels, yeah, you want to win things, I get it. You're desperate for it, you're getting impatient. But don't ignore all these types of games, all these types of moments, yeah? All the work, the great work that has gone into making you guys at the level you are right now, yeah? And it's the tried and tested Arteta methods that got the win today. Merino, guys were crying about his appearance against Man City. This is why he's introducing these types of games here. In a game against Newcastle where it doesn't matter what players you have on the field, you're not going to play Barcelona tiki-taki football to come back in games like this. That's not going to be worked in this Premier League. It don't happen, yeah? Against this Newcastle team, you need players who can dominate the moments that come, that can win those battles, that can embrace the physical challenge. And that's what Arsenal did today, and that's why you got the 2 goals, 2-headed goals. That's why the squad's being constructed this way. I'm a Chelsea fan, but we don't have the players that could have scored the goals today that you guys got from Merino and Gabriel. We don't have those profiles. That means that there's a possibility in game that is impossible for Chelsea to ever capitalize on, because we don't have that. But for Arsenal, this is a squad where you've got that mixture now of pace, of power, of strength and physicality. You have the nippy players in Eze, Odegaard and a lot more. You have the pace and the industry out wide. This is a well-crafted and balanced team. And at the moment, this season is the best only doubt really for Arsenal to mount a real title challenge, yeah? After seeing Liverpool showing that they're still human and that they're not guaranteed to make it 2 for 2 for Prem titles, there is a moment here for Arsenal right now, and it will take a lot. It's going to take everything. The defense, Arteta's management, players seizing on moments, players taking opportunities, and of course, how you get results against this difficult opposition that's only set up to kind of nullify you, that's set up to try and minimize your game, disrupt your game, and kind of just stop you finding that flow. And I thought Arsenal found lots of ways to maybe play through Newcastle. A lot were directs. A lot were great half chances that weren't taken. I'm looking at efforts from Eze where on his day, he has it in his locker to bag some of those half chance efforts easily. On his day, he can. That's not impossible for him. We saw great moments too, like Zubamendi, that brilliant scoop ball out from nowhere, which it surprised me. I didn't even see that coming, to be fair with you. That could have produced moments right there. They tested too. First half, Trossard smashing it off the crossbar from an acute angle. Gyökeres wasn't as involved, but it's going to be hard. You know, he's not in the Portuguese league where he was by far the strongest force in that entire division. On a weekly basis now, he's up against guys in his physical caliber. But this was a type of game where it was going to be hard. You weren't going to get clear-cut bait type of chances. Arsenal tried to release the ball to him quite quickly and early to find him, but Newcastle were deep. Newcastle were resolute. Newcastle were putting men onto him. It really wasn't an easy game whatsoever. And, you know what I mean? I think that's expected for a striker like Gyökeres, who I'm sure will get clowned on because that's the era we're living in right now, right? You know, us rival fans, we look for any small margin to gain over our odds. That's what we do. But this will be like a learning experience for him. But, you know, he still played his part just from how he was occupied. And it's hard to really get shots off. But you're getting managed that well inside the box by Newcastle's defence, right? So, yeah, for Arsenal to come back in a game like this, but it was looking impossible. It was working against you, yeah? It wasn't looking very likely. You can take something from this right now in terms of a positive direction going forwards, because to score these goals in the manner you did, Gabriel, the hero again. I don't know what Pope was doing, to be honest with you. That was a controllable moment. And for the performance he had today, I think he really let himself down right near the end with that just missed time error at the near post. I think it was just, a sloppy way to lose control on the leads against Arsenal, especially when they were dealing with that type of delivery time and time again. But Merino, just talking about his goal, like when I saw this guy score that goal for Spain against Germany at the Euros, I was like, this guy is world class with his heading. And that header, coming at him, to direct it away, to use all that neck power, to change the direction of that cross coming his way, away from the keeper. That was a world-class header, world-class goal, which changed the game. And in a game like this, you aren't going to find solutions by crafting 1-2s and superb, full-dimensional football. This was going to be, okay, if the ball is in the box, is someone going to take that moment? Is someone going to take advantage? Is someone going to step up and make it matter when it counts? Yeah? Arsenal struggled at times, you know. Eze didn't have his greatest game, even though he probed Saka as well. And when your guys are finding it hard like that, it was time for the big boys to come on. And they did. And that's why you guys sealed the game, because that's the Premier League for you, man. That really is how the Premier League works. I think to myself sometimes, you know, we always think as fans that as long as, like, the market can kind of save you all the time. You know, you buy these players, you buy the big names, and that should automatically equate to your performances now being 2 times better. No. Because it means nothing if a team like Newcastle plays the way they do, where it's physical, it's energetic, they're playing impacts, they're defending impacts. It doesn't matter who you buy. When the game is reduced to its bare elements like that, it's going to be very difficult for anyone. And I do think in these moments, Arsenal are kind of equipped to deal with the game when it gets nitty-gritty like this. And I think that's why they've kind of been in and around these like title challenging positions, because normally these are the type of games they can thrive in. And they did that today. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say, though, to really end this review, obviously, real shame, Livramento with what looks to be a really nasty injury. That's a massive shame. I think Voltamada going off for Newcastle at the time he did. I guess he can't play full 90s, but that really gave Arsenal even more hope when he did come off the field. And I still think that was a straight penalty right near the end. Straight penalty against Gabriel. Outrageous that wasn't given. Clear handball. And there's potential that this game ended up being a 2-2 draw. But anyway, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're not going to give two Fs whatsoever, because this is a vital 3 points you picked up in the losing position. And in the context of the grander season, you'll be looking at moments in games like this, like, yeah, this was the real decider. This was the real difference maker for our hopes this season. So that's all my thoughts on Arsenal's 2-1 comeback win against Newcastle. I'm NiiNiiFC, and catch me here for more match reactions, as well as everything we learn every week in the Premier League. Love, cool.